This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Magmageddon, but not at all for a 1v1. Actually, it's exactly for a 1v1. It's not for a 3v3, and I am so excited about this series. This has been years in the making. Not actually, but I'll talk about it in just a moment. Opening with 3 refineries right out of the gate as the Yellow Empire in the top right-hand corner. This is Vindies! And his red allies opponent in the bottom left-hand corner. This is WalftheWolf! Old Puzzles boy, old Wolfie. All right. Big thanks to MediaStorm for sponsoring this show match. A huge thanks to WalftheWolf and Vindies, who agreed to play this. And I was like, hey guys, you want to play in a show match? And they were like, sure. And then I was like, all right, I have created the best rules for you guys to play. And then they both still agreed to play. So it was super cool that these guys were willing to have a bit of fun with my bizarre rule set. Number one is you have to play game 1 on Magmageddon, random spawns. And these guys were willing to do it. Now, I did let them choose their factions. I thought it was going to be an AVA. It's a little bit telling that Vindies does go for an EVA. We, of course, saw that. He is banking on this being a game where he can expand quickly. 3 refinery right out of the gate. If this was Infinity Isle, WalftheWolf or a good allied player would be able to take advantage of that 3 refinery opening, and they would be looking to punish this. But here, WalftheWolf's dog doesn't get across the map until like 30 seconds after this ore refinery was even up. WalftheWolf had no opportunity to punish that, but it's random spawns. So if they had spawned next to each other, like if Wolf had been here, he could have turret pushed that 3rd refinery basically immediately and could have actually had a really strong position from it. However, that is not how things turned out. WalftheWolf actually with 3 oil derricks under his control. Really good scouting by him. Really good choices by him. He's also going to be expanding up north immediately. These 2 guys, if you don't know them, WalftheWolf and Vindies, 2 of the best allied players to ever play the game. You know, top 10, top 20 allied players of all time. But not so much recently, right? WalftheWolf hasn't played at a super high competitive level in a long time. Vindies as well. They've both kind of come back in the last year or so for a short time, had a little bit of a play around and showed some good games, but not necessarily up to their same level. So I wanted to bring out the old rust bucket and get these guys into a match against each other. 2 guys who are amazing allied players, but who are quite rusty, and see what happens. Oil derrick does go down. No expansions up just yet. No additional refineries in the north there, as WalftheWolf is kind of prioritizing the stuff that's a little bit closer to home. Vindies going big into the Tangus. We also saw the Naval Yard come out as well, so Vindies hasn't progressed to Tier 2 just yet. He has taken a 4th refinery, but losing that oil derrick is a little bit annoying. So his income is still going to be quite good with 4 refineries and an oil derrick, but maybe not quite as good as he would have liked. All right, 2 Apollos going to be able to escape. Of course, when you see 1 Tangu that you get an opportunity to kill off, that's always nice as an allied player. Double airfield pretty darn quickly from WalftheWolf. Oil derrick going to be getting pressured as well. Tangus are here to save it. So WalftheWolf breaking off 5 peacekeepers, sending them out onto the map and actually trying to get something accomplished with them. He isn't going to get this 2nd oil derrick, but he did get that 1st oil derrick, and that's a nice little win for him. Also going to be forcing some of the money from that oil derrick to be spent on repairs. Always nice when you can do that. No Tier 2 at neither the Naval Yard or that War Factory. So Vindies, he is focused more on economy and just mass-producing Tangus, and this may be enough. Let's see how Wolf's defense actually is. This sheer number of Tangu spam may be enough to break Wolf. No, he's got 5 Apollos able to catch some of these Tangus right over top. Now, they're not over top of that multi-gunner turret, which is where Wolf would have liked to engage this. He does have decent control there, but he does lose a couple of Apollos, and that has bought him a little bit more time. Vindicators do get off the deck, but they immediately get sniped. A bit of a mistake there from WalftheWolf, and now Vindies is going to start splitting up these Tengus, and I don't know that WalftheWolf has the ground army to be able to swiftly and securely shut these down. No multi-gunner turrets do get deployed. Power plant's starting to get targeted, and this is where WalftheWolf's focus on economy is hurting him a little bit. Those two Vindicators getting sniped means that once these Tengus transform, there is almost nothing on the ground to oppose him. Maybe a couple of Javelin troopers, but really not much at all. Tengus do go down. There's the transform. Nicely done there by Vindies. Catches the Vindicator on the exit. He got the power plant. He got the Vindicator. He needs to not overstay his welcome. He is going to speed off to the north. Apollo gets one more kill, and this might actually be a little bit too costly for Vindies. He does transform just in time. Behind this, Vindies taking a 5th refinery. Going to be able to bring the harassment to WalftheWolf. Meanwhile, taking a 5th refinery on the north side of the map. Nice use of at least one honorable discharge. The second one was a bit of a gaffe, bit of a mistake there, as that Harvester will eventually go down, and WalftheWolf was ready for that. Already has the Harvester like 60% done because he knew that that honorable discharge was gonna get him. No transition to Tier 2. I was expecting to come back up here and to see a Tier 2 War Factory, maybe even a Tier 2 Naval Yard, but no, it is just mass Tengu. Wave number 1, Disruption. Shut down a lot of the Apollos, shut down some of the economy, and disrupted the power, which has been reconciled at this point. A couple of Apollos almost getting caught here. They're getting frozen in the pack of Tengus. Nice control there by Vindies, using the body blocking goofiness of the Red Alert 3 unit movement system to catch that Apollo. Tengu's skirting around the map. Still 3 oil derricks for WalftheWolf. Vindies has not been able to punish that at all. Big transform on top of the airfield. Right into the sky go those Apollos. And of course, these Tengus are just happy that they are on the opposite side of those Apollos. No Vindicators coming in here for bombing runs. That's a little bit surprising that WalftheWolf has nothing on standby to deal with this. IFVs head off into the middle of the map, but no, they do turn around. They're going to be needed to help break this Tengu attack. First Vindicator is on out. Nice catch of one of those Tengus, and good control there by WalftheWolf to keep those IFVs alive. Apollo's not overhead, so for now, the Tengus will be able to escape. I don't know if the mass Tengu is really working out. He does catch several of the Tengus right in that engagement. Apollo's re-engaging. These are point defense drone Tengus, so it's not a clear win for the Apollos, but honestly, they did do a decent job of slicing through a number of those Tengus. IFVs keeping eyes on these Tengus, and Vindies, why, man? He still has not gone to Tier 2. This one is feeling a bit like overstaying your welcome. I'm a big believer in the mass Tengu. As someone who is not a good Empire player, okay, at least Tier 2 on the Naval Yard. So we have the potential of Shogun battleships. We have the potential of some kind of late-game threat from our Empire player. A couple of Guardian tanks going on the offense. Going to be able to sneak a Harvester kill, and that's always nice as an allied player. You got those cheaper Harvesters able to put a little bit of pressure on to Vindies. And this is really the first time that something that's not Peacekeepers or dogs from the very beginning of the game has gotten to the Empire side of the map. WalftheWolf has done a really good job of managing expansion and defense, and he has a reasonably stable base to now work from. He's not totally set up how he would like, but he is up to Tier 3. He's got Athena cannons on the way, and it's not going to be enough to stop Vindies. I feel like Vindies, with the advantage of Empire expansion, would be a little bit further spread out, but honestly, he's kind of slim in this section of the map. Apollos do catch the Shogun battleship right as it spawns in, so Vindies is going to not necessarily be as sneaky as he wants. Psionic Decimator has also been added on, so Vindies playing this maybe a little bit silly, as he is going to be losing this expansion. One Harvester is already back online. but that refinery is going to go down, and this harvester here in the middle of the map is getting targeted as well. And it looks like he will get cleaned up by those IFVs. Striker is here to clean up the Guardians, and, well, that is a lot of Tengus that all have point defense drones. That refinery almost surviving the engagement, barely will go down there. And that Chopper VX basically just got single vet from the death of that refinery. MCV getting targeted down, a couple of Mirage tanks. This is not a very big army to be across on the other side of the map with. MCV gets blasted, though, and those Mirage tanks, one survives, one goes down. The Guardian takes the brunt of the damage, but it's going to trade out for as many Tengus as possible. Really good usage there by WalftheWolf. I mean, those are tier 3 units versus tier 1, but the sheer numbers are, of course, going to overwhelm the Allied forces. Allied vehicles, as high-tech as they may be, of course, do not have a lot of health. They don't have a lot of armor, and instead, just the guns of Tengus will tear them apart. Shogun battleships out on the field, and this is what we were expecting to see. Vindies bringing the pain to this refinery, bringing the pain to this wall segment. Are you really shooting wall segments while this cryocopter freezes down that Shogun? Triple cryocopter as the Vindicators come in, and one Shogun down. No anti-air at all for these Shoguns. The Tengus are way far away, and Vindies has just kind of taken his time doing whatever he wants. He's putting on a little bit more pressure. Tier 3 has not been sniped. The barracks goes down, but so does the Mirage tank, as this is what happens on a map like Magmageddon when you have a 1v1, is things get so spread out and you end up defending your main base with Shogun battleships against a mixed Guardian tank, IFV Mirage tank army. Weirdness does indeed happen. Apollo's trying to chase down those Tengus, more Tengus coming out of the Mecha Bay. A lot of high-tech units from the naval yard of Vindies, but without any anti-air. They're not entirely useless, but they are limited in their abilities. Shogun battleships trying to target down that Mirage tank. 2 Shogun battleships should be able to clean it up before it kills off. He's gonna run for it. And the Chopper VX will chase down that Mirage tank. Meanwhile, the harassment continues in the north. The Mirage tank, single Mirage tanks going for the kills on these refineries. A great move here by WalftheWolf. He's about to lose this. Why are you attacking the walls? Like, he's obviously set to probably aggressive stance, and so it's just attacking whatever is nearby. Where are the Tengus? Where are the Sea Wings? This is 4 cryocopters, which is enough to freeze and shrink these Shoguns. 2 minutes 20 on the map, or on the counter for that Psionic Decimator. It looks like the refinery will go down, but there goes one Shogun. Second Shogun about to be eliminated by WalftheWolf. And then the third Shogun won't get very much more done. It is at least still full size, so it still can bring a couple of shots. Vindicator bomb splitting is not perfect from WalftheWolf, but he is, operating under pressure, and with a rusty keyboard, it can be quite difficult. Tengus are here. Shogun battleships helping to keep WalftheWolf on his side of the map, but that is expensive. That's like 4 Shogun battleships in total going down to these cryocopters. Vindies probably still has a couple more in the north, but losing so many Shogun battleships and only getting 1 refinery for it is a bit of a mistake here. Double refinery in the middle of the map from Waf. He's done a pretty good job of rounding out most of the expansions that he has easy access to. Riptide's dogs getting sent out to the corners of the map looking for those scouting pads just so that he's got a couple of units around the place for vision. So many Apollos. I mean, if they can find the Tengu swarm, they will be able to take a fight. That is 11 Apollos, nearly 3 full airfields versus Apollos. Point defense drones on top of these Tengus. I don't know who wins that fight, but It's going to be a lot of Apollos to potentially bring down that Tengu cloud, and, well, WalftheWolf does already have them. Mainframe does get sold off there. Of course, with this many Mirages, you can't kill them fast enough to save that kind of a building. One Tengu is here. Power plant's getting targeted down. At the same time, Vindies bringing a bit of harassment with that Tank Buster Surprise on the other side of the map, trying to shut down the build radius so that there can't be any more multi-gunner turrets getting deployed. Riptide's getting some kills around the map, and Apollo's going to have to be brought in to save these cryocopters. Mass Tengu just looking for the kill on the cryocopters. Every single cryo goes down, and now the Apollos will be faced with this Mass Tengu mass point defense drone, which 12 seconds on the clock, and it goes down. WalftheWolf gets the kill on that Psionic Decimator, and this is not how I was expecting this match to go. But Vindies choosing Mass Tengu as his option. He gets both of the refineries on the left side of the map. Everything goes down in that allied attacking force, but not before taking another power plant with them. Most of the refineries have just fallen to disrepair as both players have harassed successfully their opponent's expansions. Not much is left over that is actually working correctly from both players. The main base of WalftheWolf has been largely untouched, although he hasn't actually rebuilt yet. This Harvester just yet finally comes back online. He still hasn't taken his original third expansion back. He's more just focused on the middle of the map and rebuilding those expansions. Apollos are here. Shogun battleships do escape the freeze. Sea-Wing transforms, and Sea-Wing's actually going to get some free shots against these Apollos. One Apollo is going to go down for free. WalftheWolf still not realizing will pull back there, but not before losing a second Apollo. A nice catch for Vindies. Gets his Harvesters back online. He himself hasn't been able to rebuild some of these further out refineries. He's been focused more on that main base. Still hasn't gone tier 3 on the Mecha Bay. He is not interested in Wave Force Artillery. He is not interested in King Onis. He is rebuilding out on the water. That's where his MCV, his second MCV, popped out from. And WalftheWolf is actually going to get a little bit closer to the expansions of Vindies, as Vindies kind of expanding down to the south into the middle of the map, and WalftheWolf himself having taken towards the middle of the map as well. So both of these guys pretty well set up, reaching towards the middle from the edges where they started. One of those matchups that could have gone a number of different directions based on the random 6 spawns that these guys fortunately agreed to. I'm very glad that they agreed to that, because it's such a goofy thing to force players to do, and I'm glad that they were both good-natured enough to actually go for it. Riptide versus ERE Minisub. This one Mirage tank once again on the harassment path. WalftheWolf is clearly thinking that more expansions are going to be set up in the north, but he's moments too early. If only he knew. If only he turned that Mirage tank around, he might actually be able to get a kill on that refinery before it fully sets up. 6 Tsunami tanks pressing on forward. More, actually, no, those might be the same 2 Shogun battleships. A 3rd Shogun battleship does get added on. Vindies has learned his lesson. He has 2 more Shogun battleships in the south, though, completely undefended, and there is no Sea-Wings to protect them from cryocopters. I don't even know that WalftheWolf has rebuilt his cryocopters. He's been focusing once again on his land army. That has done a lot of good work for him. He can potentially reach this refinery from the land with an Athena cannon. I think it might have to be heroic to get that kind of range, but you might be able to get a kill off that refinery, which means his land army could kill almost everything on the map. Another 11 Apollos, and that's a tier 2 barracks. We'll see if it goes tier 3. Might be waiting for the mainframe core to get rebuilt. Refinery takes a little bit of damage there as the Tengu goes for the harassment. Shogun's helping to defend those tank busters from that dog. Kind of accidentally, maybe a little bit of friendly fire there. And Vindies, is he ready to move out in the south? There are 3 Riptides in the north looking to harass Vindies. Once again, WalftheWolf has rebuilt almost every refinery that he has taken over the course of this game. So he is up to like 6 refineries, 7 refineries, 3, 4, yeah, 7 refineries. Not quite 8 just yet, but maybe about to take 8. And 3 oil derricks. So WalftheWolf has gone really big in eco for this game, being able to take over 7 or 8 refineries for himself. That is how he is affording these mass armies that he is constructing. Harvester about to go down once again as WalftheWolf brings in just a single Mirage tank harassment team to hit this one location. Nope, or to turn into a bomb tree. I do love that the palm tree casts a shadow. That's just a nice touch, that it is actually like an object that appears in the world. Harvester goes down, and the refinery will be after that. Shogun battleships targeting down these dogs once again. No more Psionic Decimator, no Chronosphere even. I feel like a Chronosphere would be a good choice for WalftheWolf. He could actually get some pretty serious usage out of Chronosphere. 6 more cryocopters out on the field brings our total count up to 10 for this game. And these Tengus are going to have to get on top of these cryocopters quickly. This is just so many Riptides. These Shogun battleships are actually going to get torn apart. Maybe if they had had their ramming speed ready, they would have been able to do something about this. But this is way too many Riptides for this one Shogun, but he gets the aircraft carrier. He dodges all of the Riptides and he goes straight for the aircraft carrier. A great move there, and I hope that wasn't a last-ditch Eureka effort there as Vindies gets that barracks shut down, gets the refineries shut down, and he does have a bit of an insurance policy way out here in the corner of the map, a power plant, so that if his units do survive the slaughter, he will be able to keep himself in this game and have his army do all of the fighting while the power plant keeps him legally in the game. A couple of strikers are getting shot down. Mass Tengu comes in here and they are hunting those cryos. A couple of Sea Wings down on the ground helping to clear out these Apollos, and the Tengus reign supreme, but the IFBs bringing down the house as Vindies parks over top of those IFVs and just takes a ton of damage for free. Shogun battleships pounding away at this allied ground army, and Riptides slowly but surely going to try and work on that ore refinery, or I guess all of the Riptides get called back to patrol. 2 aircraft carriers are back up and running for WalftheWolf. 3 aircraft carriers as his mass Riptide army moves into a defensive position. Aircraft carriers are going to be able to clean up the ore refinery and then start making their way around the map, perhaps. 5 tsunami tanks reforming, I guess, the front line of Vindies' army. Vindies still heavily relying on the Tengu numbers. Just sheer Tengu firepower from Vindies. His like fresh 3 expansions that he took down in the south here along the edge of the map. I guess 4 expansions. One of them has survived. The others have all gotten cleaned up, and his sneaky attempt at a Mecha Bay is also getting cleaned up. A bit unfortunate here for Vindies. Loses that sneaky Mecha Bay, never able to produce much from it. Tsunami tanks coming over here to the left side for a run-by, as they are going to be able to stop this expansion of WalftheWolf. And WalftheWolf has completely locked down this corner of the map. He just hasn't been able to move out for a big strike against Vindies for a little while. He's going to be able to get all of these tsunami tanks. The combination of cryocopters and Mirage tanks is just too powerful. And the Mirage is going to move in, able to clean up that last tsunami tank. It was a nice attempt by Vindies, but ultimately 5 tsunami tanks against this kind of late-game firepower. WalftheWolf is sort of outstripping Vindies in the economy game. Able to take down attempted refineries, and if he gets a good EMP, he may be able to just swarm over top of these Shoguns with mass Riptide and kill them where they are. The Shoguns will be able to pop a couple of the Riptides as they close in the distance. However, if the Riptides swarm them, I think the Riptides just win that fight straight up. There is 7 or 8 or 9 Shogun battleships, and the Tengus moving into position, loosely looking for that engage against the Riptides. Everyone chooses to back off, and the Tengus fly over. This is a bit of a dangerous option here. Aegis Shield does pop, and it's going to be the engagement of the Apollos. Mass Apollo massacre as they just get shredded out of the skies. Tengus are here, but it's really about the Strikers getting the surprise on the MCV. There goes your tech. The Tankbuster surprise gets annihilated, but these Strikers will not be stopped until the IFVs show up. There's the transform of the Tengus having to engage against the Mirage tanks as well, and the Strikers still in the sky. You just need one to survive to bring down the base, but no, he goes down. The Mirage tank and the IFV clears out the Empire forces. If only, oh no! 7 cryocopters! This is somebody's dream right here. Fully heroic Vindicator on the attack, but it's gonna be 4 Apollos who show up and just, well, they don't actually shred the Tengus, as the Tengus do manage to escape. Those cryocopters almost getting shredded there, just almost getting completely annihilated. Balloon bombs get called in on top of that airfield. They're going to be able to drop a couple of bombs. They might actually be able to just clear that airfield completely up. Shogun battleship going down in the bottom right. Final Squadron also getting called on to the War Factory. He doesn't get the War Factory, which means, well, with the Naval Yard as well, the MCV can be rebuilt. It already has been rebuilt. But I believe that's an MCV kill for an MCV kill. Cryocopters showing up to shrink down those Shoguns, and the Riptides are now going to try and close the distance. The Shoguns popping off the Riptides as they're far away, and now the Riptides showing up to just lock down these Shoguns. Freeze one Shogun, a second Shogun might get frozen here, but no, those mini Shoguns are actually really good at hitting moving targets. Riptides still trying to close the distance. A couple of Riptides getting picked off from the distance as these Shoguns outranging everything that the Allied has on the front lines here. Another refinery goes down, but not the insurance power plant in the corner. I definitely don't want to see every game on Magmageddon, but I actually really like this as a every once in a while goofy kind of a match if the players are willing to do it. It's fun to see something like a 1v1 on Magmageddon, just mass economy. I guess there's probably 30 refinery nodes, 30 ore nodes on the map. So, like, in theory, you could both have 15. Of course, you probably won't hold 15 all at once, but you've got a massive amount of income at your disposal, and I'm really surprised that there has been no Chronosphere, there's been no Proton Collider, and that there's only been one attempt at a super weapon in total. Precision Bomber getting a kill there on a couple of Tengus, it looks like. WalftheWolf trying to keep those numbers down. He keeps losing the air fight. The Apollos get shredded by those point defense drone EMP fires off by those point defense drone Tengus. Only 2 of the Shoguns get caught by that EMP, but that might be enough for the okay, there's 3 aircraft carriers. They are going to be able to take down 1 Shogun, it looks like, but the aircraft carriers are actually getting targeted down by the Shoguns, so 1 Shogun going down might be as much as they can hope for. Aircraft carrier goes fully heroic, manages to attack 2 more Shoguns with the EMP, but it might end up costing both of these last remaining aircraft carriers as WalftheWolf closes in on the Shoguns and then backs off basically immediately. His Riptides are called off the attack. Cryogeddon not necessarily catching these Shoguns. That's another thing that we haven't seen a ton of, is Cryogeddon. I think it's fired off a couple of times, caught some kind of, I think, water units over here or something, but not a lot of cryo support powers from WalftheWolf. He's had a decent amount of cryocopters, but they have not done as much as we necessarily see them. Vindies has done a pretty good job of catching the cryocopters with his Tengus and shutting them down. Another refinery. More and more and more Apollos. This time up to 14 Apollos. Shogun battleships moving into position. I will defend my homeland, but only with artillery. Single harvester in the middle of the map coming down to that attack. I'm not sure where WalftheWolf's late game plan is. If his plan is just, I am going to... Oh no, the cryocopters fly over the Sea Wings, and they get caught. 3 go down. The 4th manages to escape. WalftheWolf barely able to keep that 4th alive. And WalftheWolf might just kind of have to go for it. Just, you know, move all in to this base of Vindies and try and knock down the entire base. Could kill the oil derrick as well while you're there. Get both of the oil derricks, get the ore refinery, and just try and move out of range of the Shoguns, constantly avoiding their shots. I mean, when you've got a big column of tanks, you can't really do that, because if the Shoguns were to shoot at the first tank, they will hit the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th tanks with the sheer number of shots that they've got. But WalftheWolf has to do something. If he can at least break the Mecha Bay, force Vindies to rebuild the Mecha Bay, put it somewhere else, it would slow down the production of Vindies. Vindies' original Mecha Bay and original base, those 2 refineries, that Mecha Bay, they haven't really been hit this entire game, and as a result, every single unit has been produced and produced and produced by Vindies. His production has just been going non-stop from this Mecha Bay pretty much from the beginning. His naval yard has also been pretty much online from the beginning. Wolf has not been able to break those positions, though he himself has got quite a tidy little setup here. 3, 6, 8 refineries active and working. 3 oil derricks as well. Might even be able to take a 9th refinery, or maybe a 9th up here. Would be a little bit close to Vindies, but he could probably do it. Riptide sneaking up to the north. Gonna look to shut down this harvester. Maybe even get a kill on the refinery. Never mind, they just go straight for the refinery. Mass Tengu, Mass Striker going to respond. Strikers actually peel off a little bit early. There's the mass transform of the Tengus. They do save the refinery, save the harvester. Apollo's responding towards the middle of the map. Shoguns re-rotating back to the southern side of the map. And it's going to be so many refineries on this right little edge of the map, this little pocket that Vindies has carved out for himself. No Chronosphere, no Sentry Bombers, no Tanya, nothing to try and, like, sneak deep into the heart of your enemy's base. Although this Mass Riptide, he's going to try it again. Again, if he can get on top of the Shogun battleships, if he can close in. 5 more cryocopters. Will they get targeted down? Final squadron does get called in. Going to try and take down the refinery. No, going for the war factory here in the middle of the map. The balloon bomb's going to help to finish that off. And well done there as these Sea Wings getting a couple of free kills on the Apollos of WalftheWolf. Shogun battleship does eventually go down. Gets frozen and destroyed. Riptide going to try and target down those Sea Wings, but that Sea Wing is going to evacuate. He may not be able to escape forever. Gonna fire off a couple more shots before he gets eliminated, and, well, that is that. He's actually gonna try and transform, and no, he's not. He's gonna just hang out there. Tank Buster Surprise comes in, 1 single Peacekeeper to deal with them, and this Peacekeeper will eventually go down, but took a couple of Tank Busters with him. Well done there. Mass Yari mini sub from Vindies. Now heading to the south. He's got the 2 refineries up and running there in the north, and his Shogun net is spreading out. Yari mini-subs trying to eliminate the hydrofoils, trying to eliminate the Riptides one by one. Just cut down the number of Riptides and cut down the effectiveness of Wolf's navy. Shogun splitting off to the left side. Yari Minisub's going to be engaging the aircraft carrier directly, cleans up a good chunk of those Riptides, and the rest of the Yari Minisubs are going to have to head for the hills. Refineries once again going down. Yaris will exit the game with those moves, and those 2 refineries just are not meant to be. It looked like Vindies had a nice little pocket here on the right side of the map, but he's been unable to hold on to those. Strikers getting caught out. Vindies losing a couple of strikers there. I think the fully heroic ones as well. The Apollos do manage to escape, and WalftheWolf, has he hit kind of a tipping point? Shogun Battleship on the left side of the map. The other two do get turned around and sent back home, and WalftheWolf might just try and go for it. Gun right through the middle and go for the kill on the main base of Vindies. Shogun Battleships and the water expansion is going to be difficult to break for WalftheWolf. Vindies had naval superiority for quite some time, and WalftheWolf is going to try and break that now. Tankbuster Surprise gets called in. Mass point defense drones, but it is Tengus versus Tier 3 allied armor. Let's see how the IFVs are able to do. Hopefully, these Mirage tanks don't just get overwhelmed. Okay, IFV's starting to move into position. The Shoguns here for support is really good for Vindies. He needs that to be able to thin out these numbers from a distance. IFV's being kept busy, and it looks like it's just mass numbers from Vindies. Is he going to be able to actually reign supreme? Mirage tanks go down. There's the transform of the strikers, and pure Tengu firepower has won the day. WalftheWolf unable to execute the main base of Vindies. He was unable to touch that mecha bay, and the fact that he is not using Cryogeddon, he might be using it just not where I am seeing it, but like he didn't use Cryogeddon to lock down that mecha bay and then just get an easy kill with a precision bomber. He's having a really tough time actually breaking into this Empire base. He might be able to do it out here on the water. Allied Navy is powerful. Not necessarily as strong as Empire Navy, but that might be the place where WalftheWolf can win. His Apollos came out okay in that last engagement, but that's partially because the Tengus were on the ground for a big part of it, breaking through those IFVs. There's one Vindicator getting a lot of legwork in, and he needs to get off the deck. No, he goes down to the tank busters as the triple airfield is going to get targeted by these tank busters, and it actually forces a sell-off of one of the airfields. Meanwhile, the third airfield will get targeted down. Forces the sell-off of another airfield. WalftheWolf's Navy is looking amazing, but everything else is falling to pieces. Once again, these two guys have gone back and forth so many times, but maybe we are finally hitting a bit of a turning point. WalftheWolf is going to be forced out onto the water, almost in a similar way to how Vindies was forced out onto the water quite some time ago. Vindies not actually going to be able to call in, bring the harassment, but he is going to be able to call in the balloon bombs. So the vision does get him the use of the balloon bombs. They're dancing around a little bit there, and they will be able to take out the power plant, and I think not much more than the power plant. Tier 3 balloon bombs does a decent amount of damage. Is he going to actually get the war factory? That would be pretty amazing if he manages to get the war factory with the balloon bombs. Just barely not. Just barely not. A little bit unfortunate, but this Yari mini-sub is going to town on his own power plant. Gets the kill there. Proton Collider, 30 seconds left. After all of that time waiting for it, I didn't even notice when it was built. Refinery ready to go. Vindies trying to expand back out. And WalftheWolf, if he can catch the Navy with his Proton Collider, he might be able to just completely end this, even though his last ground army got completely dumpstered by Vindies. The Proton Collider can change a lot of this, and it is now ready to go. These Shogun battleships seem like a pretty obvious target. WalftheWolf with his sky full of Apollos is going to be looking for that target that he wants to just absolutely blast with that Proton Collider. Sea Wings in the south, Shogun battleships looking to make the fight happen. I think they're going to try and dodge the Proton Collider whenever it fires off. Vindies is probably just going to try and run right past it. There it is. Nope, that's not actually the Oh, it is! As he catches the Shogun battleships. They mostly pull back. A couple of them are very low on health, but that was a pretty low impact Shogun or Proton Collider. It took a lot of hit points from a number of those Shoguns, but also most of them just survived that space blast from the future. All right, Tengus, can they find a kill? I don't know if they all transformed. I'm not sure how they would do against. I guess once the hydrofoils get cleared, then the choppers could just go absolutely crazy on the forces. Apollo's gonna get shredded as the strikers transform. There's the Tengus transforming on top of the Mirages. This might be enough Mirages to break through, but the Honorable Discharge is such a powerful upgrade. And no, it is way too much Empire. And of course, the Strikers getting a kill on the Cryocopters as they exit. Even the Tank Buster Surprise getting in and being able to clear out some of those allied forces. Assault Destroyer is going to get some free kills on Sea Wings here as Vindies moves forward in the middle of the map. The ground army has been shattered once again, but Vindies still doesn't have the strength to actually strike down WalftheWolf and do any infrastructure damage to him. One random fully heroic Athena kills off that one oil derrick from so long ago, from the very beginning of the game. Harvester gets killed there. Athena needs to defend herself and take down that Harvester, but the Striker is here, and that will be the end of the Athena cannon unless there's an Apollo. Nope, no luck for that Athena cannon. She goes down. No Aegis shield to buy time while an Apollo shows up. It's all too late. Tengu numbers have once again been cut down, but WalftheWolf seems to not have the forces to be able to force an engagement. I guess things really started slowing down for WalftheWolf around all the time that his money got depleted. Double Hydrofoil gets caught there by that Yari mini-sub. Aircraft carrier takes a couple of shots there. Yari's going to be moving in, gets the damage. 2 Yaris to clean up that aircraft carrier, and 3 more Yaris moving into position. Riptide goes down. Assault Destroyer goes down. Yari gets eliminated, and the last one will trade out for that Hydrofoil. And where are the Apollos? Because Strikers might be able to take down the rest of this fleet. Vindies slowly but surely making some kind of progress against the Navy of WalftheWolf, but still we're locked in this near stalemate. Sub 3 minutes on the Proton Collider. Double aircraft carrier moving in on the expansion in the north. More Harvesters, more refineries though for Vindies. Every time he has a spare Harvester, he sends it out on an attack mission. To get a little bit of vision of WalftheWolf's forces, get a little vision of WalftheWolf's base. I guess this ore mine probably should be taken by WalftheWolf just so he's got a little bit of fresh income. These 2 ore mines feel like they're decent places where, yeah, they'll probably get harassed, but at the very least, you'll be able to get more than you put into it. You'll be able to get a decent amount of cash out of that refinery since everything else is depleted. Balloon bombs getting called in on the second refinery, and the Harvester will not be able to get the kill. That ore refinery down to like 10% health, but it will not go down. And the balloon bombs, I think, will be enough to take down this other refinery. Maybe just barely, as the IFBs come in trying to defend it, and the last couple of balloons are not needed. Tengu is here to get the kill on that refinery, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be the Honorable Discharge that takes down that refinery. Another 2 refineries taken down by Vindies. I feel like these guys have kind of gone through cycles of being able to clean out each other's refineries, and finally WalftheWolf takes 2 fresh refineries. This one now should also be pretty easy to take for WalftheWolf. That would give him 4 refineries full of ore to refine. Riptide coming in. Vindies takes a fresh refinery for himself. He hasn't been able to take those over in that top left main base. Riptide goes down. A couple of harvesters need to be rebuilt, but that's okay. WalftheWolf has rebuilt his ground army. It's gotten smashed by Tengus and Strikers basically every time, but he has rebuilt it. Every time it looks like it is big enough to get the job done, big enough to break into the main base of Vindies and actually kill him, and then every time it is not enough, and Vindies' mass Tengus are enough. The Apollo ground army combination just hasn't won out for WalftheWolf. My gosh, this is so many Shogun battleships to see. And Vindies has them all just waiting. I think he saw a little bit of this somewhere. He sees the position of the Allied army. He's repositioning his navy. Proton Collider is ready once again. WalftheWolf is kind of playing around this super weapon. I don't know, he sends off the scanner sweep again. Maybe going for the Mecha Bay would be the best thing, because then at least you shut down the production, you get that power plant, you get that refinery. I don't know if you're going to be able to hit the army, although this might be a really good pocket to try and jump on those Shoguns and then move your navy in at the same time on the outside edge of the map. Apollos and IFVs finally get the fight that they're looking for, but no, there's the transform of the Strikers as the Tengus now retransform. The IFVs in the south, the Mirage tanks in the north, but it's going to be the honorable discharge which shreds this Allied army, but no, there is enough Mirages. WalftheWolf breaks through. There's still 2-3 IFVs left, and enough Mirages survive the onslaught of the Empire. Finally, WalftheWolf has found the perfect mix. It nearly cost him everything, and he cannot approach these Shoguns. He doesn't have quite enough units, but that would be the time to use that Proton Collider and then just move in with your navy as well. And there it is. The Proton Collider fires off, and he's going to actually catch them this time. The Cryocopter's giving him the vision, and oh my gosh, no, a Proton Collider just cannot kill a Shogun. I cannot believe that. The Proton Collider doesn't kill a Shogun. I'm sure it would have if it hit, like, the shots all centered nicely, but in those moving Shoguns, they just avoided that Proton Collider. Once again, that Shogun doesn't get frozen, and WalftheWolf might be losing another ground army to the Shogun battleships. Final squadron fires off, doesn't quite manage to break everything. Triple Mirage tank. They do take down the oil derrick. Another nice kill there by WalftheWolf. He really needs to do something about those Shoguns. He is going to be able to move in on the MCV and the Tier 3 Naval Yard, and this is exactly what he needs. If he can take down that Naval Yard, take down the MCV at the same time, that'll really cut into the production of Vindies. Assault destroyers are buying a bit of time, but the aircraft carriers need to fire off EMPs. They need to lock down that MCV. It might actually be worth sacking a lot of this Navy, which is already getting sacked. He is getting decimated there as the assault destroyers fall to the Navy of Vindies. And the MCV has not even been targeted yet. The RE minisubs surrounding and destroying these aircraft carriers as the Shogun battleships finally get into range. The Cryocopters showing up with their shrink rays, but these aircraft carriers are just getting slaughtered. They're getting shot up one after the other. The EMP finally fires off, and it catches a good 5 Shogun battleships. Meanwhile, the aircraft carriers and Mirage tank in the north finally clearing out the main base of Vindies. It has cost WalftheWolf much, but he does finally break through the defense of Vindies, and the GG gets called. What an insane match. 49 minutes, 38 seconds for Vindies. And that will do it. WalftheWolf opens up this best of 9 with a win. WalftheWolf is maybe coming into this one as a bit of an underdog, the rustier of the two rusty giants, but he takes game number 1. And that takes us to the map Absolute Zero for an SVE. That is right, these two allied players, I am making them play Soviets and Empire in the north as the yellow Soviets. This is Vindies. And in the south as the red Empire, this is WalftheWolf. WalftheWolf, who has basically never played Empire in his life. And, well, Vindies, who mostly played allies, of course, but I think he did go through a little stint where he played random, not necessarily in tournaments, but in various matches. Now, WalftheWolf has played a lot of Empire players. I'm sure he's toyed around with Empire at some point, but functionally, he has just not played Empire. He does know, you know, how they play. But by the way, map Sub-Zero, or whatever I said already, but this is a map that I don't think I've ever seen a match on. It's given me kind of snowplow mixed with... Snowplow almost mixed with, like, industrial strength or something kind of vibes. It is not a typical map, and, well, we get to see what these guys are going to do as an SVE on it. And I will just spoil the next one. These guys are going to reverse factions. So we'll get to see WalftheWolf as a Soviet and Vindies as an Empire on a different map. So I did make these guys do a little SVE, and then we will see some mirror matchups later on. But these guys, huge thanks to them for jumping in and playing out this best of 9 and this extremely entertaining best of 9 already. I can't believe it's only been one game, but that one match on Magmageddon was delightful. The Tengu is going to run down this Vindicator, and WalftheWolf will get an engineer kill. He might have to trade out to the Tengu because of the Terror Drone, which is a bit unfortunate for WalftheWolf, but he will get a little bit of damage against this Sickle. And since there are no repairs on Soviet units, that is pretty nice for WalftheWolf. Well done there. He doesn't get the kill on the Sickle, but WalftheWolf's barracks does get shut down. Nicely done by Vindies. WalftheWolf looking to take a third refinery on the high ground, it looks like. A couple of scouting bears do get cleaned up. It's going to be lots of Tengus, it seems like, for WalftheWolf. And Wolf did manage to take both oil derricks. He only got this one first, so he didn't get the cash back on the other oil derrick, but he did at least get both oil derricks and take that cash away from Vindies. Vindies going into hammer tanks. He has gone for quite an extreme placement of this reactor, so he is gone for a bit of a safety super reactor way out in the middle of nowhere, which does make it a little bit susceptible to potential harassment, but he should be able to drop something out there, or maybe eventually get a twin blade out there to defend it. Hammer tank blasting away at that oil derrick in the middle of the map. Third refineries coming up for both players. And Vindies, having just played a long game as Empire, now gets to experience playing against Empire before he jumps back into the driver's seat of Empire in the next game. And then eventually these guys will get to choose their own factions. Well, actually, they got to choose their own factions on game number 1. So I'm not a complete monster. Vindies actually decides he is going to take back that oil derrick, builds a barracks to do it as well. The scouting has been pretty consistent, from the Tengu flyovers and the burst drones to the bears, and, well, this bear is actually getting cleaned up. But pretty consistent scouting from both players. And the bear does eventually go down there. Nicely done by WalftheWolf. And this map is actually sort of bigger than I anticipated it is. But also, the lake in the middle does definitely make this very awkward to traverse. There is no short route between the expansions, and there is no short route between the bases really either. 4 tsunami tanks onto the high ground, a 5th as well, so this Sickle will go down, the Harvester will survive, and WalftheWolf can get back to work. But Vindies takes the expansion in the middle of the map. He's going to get himself a 4th. He's going to look for 2 oil derricks as well with that second engineer. Tengu flies over, gets tagged a little bit by that Bullfrog, and Vindies looking to potentially set up 5 expansions and also have a very strong hold on the middle of the map. And he is going to get this oil derrick. The tsunami tanks are too far away. They might just blast down that oil derrick and take it out of the equation so that that engineer doesn't really pay for itself. But the other engineer will pay for itself. At this point, it may already have. Terror drones on the front line. Vindies ready to freeze a couple of these tsunami tanks. Will keep them in kind of an awkward position. Tengu might get infected by one of these terror drones, but that is sort of the price to pay. Might actually be able to kill one of these tsunami tanks with a Tesla coil. Hammer tanks trying to leech down the tsunamis in the north. WalftheWolf going on the attack a little bit here, but he's going to lose the Tengu as well. Bit of a flub there for that first piece of the engagement, and perhaps not having any experience with this situation might be the cause of that. But WalftheWolf is now into a 3 refinery versus 5 refinery plus an oil derrick situation. And this Soviet player has sort of gotten out of hand, and it's up to WalftheWolf to put him back in his place. He's going to be able to take down this ore refinery in the south. There isn't much defense there for Vindies, and these two guys used to play on the same team. They were both allied experts, and now they're going up against each other in an SVE. So not their home turf, but they're fighting from long ago. War Factory is going to get targeted. It's going to be a mass push-in of these hammer tanks, trying to leech down as many of these tsunamis as they can. Take the tank busters out of the equation as well. The front line of tank busters all going down, and there goes 2 tsunami tanks at once. The tank busters are almost back online, though. The War Factory does not get eliminated. The hammer tank gets a hero crush there. Almost every single tank buster goes down as the War Factory is still standing, but not for much longer. The hammer tanks do lose in a gunfight against the tsunamis, but not with these numbers. And with those leeches activated, these are now supercharged hammer tanks with double guns against these tsunamis. The tier 2 and the tier 3 is completely out on the water, and WalftheWolf is going for a hidden expansion in the north. Refinery in the south does get shut down. WalftheWolf is going to... what is Vindies actually going to do? Is WalftheWolf going to not be stopped here? These tsunami tanks, I mean, even if they sacrifice themselves to kill that tier 2, the fact that it will deny the tier 2 and maybe even the tier 3 of Vindies is completely worth it to, even if he ends up losing both of these tsunami tanks. No airfield makes this a difficult decision for Vindies, and I think he's just gonna have to let it go. He's rebuilding his War Factory, so he might be able to get out a couple more hammer tanks. Is Vindies just gonna cut his losses and try and go onto the other side of the map and go for the kill? Super Reactor almost down. Terror Drone is going to get the infect, and okay, that is how he is going to do it. So it will be a trade for the Super Reactor. 1 tsunami tank goes down, and the second gets eliminated. Nicely done there. Super Reactor gets restarted, and it looks like a couple of tsunami tanks going down in the south. The hammer tanks forced to pull back, but at least WalftheWolf has given himself a fighting chance. That 4th refinery, killing off the refinery, killing off the Super Reactor, all of these things add up to giving WalftheWolf an actual chance in this game when he was about to be completely overwhelmed. That Soviet firepower is difficult to deal with when it gets away from you. Tengu getting shut down. The rest of the army is lagging a bit too far behind to actually help out in this case. 1 random Imperial warrior on the north there. Tsunami tanks reforming. Okay, finally, we do have some strikers. The Striker-Tengu combination is so powerful, and we have not seen much of it at all. We've seen some Tengus, now we see some Strikers, but there's been not much there. We're going to probably need to see some bears from Vindies to help deal with this mass Empire infantry. But we'll see. A couple of Tesla troopers on the front line. Soviet units getting clunky, getting caught up on each other around those edges. Terror drone gets called in. We'll be able to lock down one of those tsunami tanks. MCV moving into position, possibly as a battering ram. Looks like we do have some V4s out in the mix as well. Tesla troopers getting trimmed from this army, and hammer tanks coming forward. Now that the infantry has been dealt with, it is just a dead Empire army. And I guess a Natasha is somewhere nearby as well. That tsunami tank waiting to be taken over, and WalftheWolf has walked into the trap, apparently. He is rebuilding double barracks production. If he had been able to clean up this refinery at the same time, that might have meant something, or even hit out at that super reactor hidden base in the north. Those strikers up in the north could have potentially shut down the tier 3, shut down that fresh super reactor as well. But now the strikers are just getting taken down in the middle of the map. They're going to go for the war factory, but there isn't much else they can do. This bullfrog is too powerful, and WalftheWolf calls it quits. The GG gets called, and Wolf, with a difficult fight ahead of him, realizes that he's just going to drop that game. And for having basically never played Empire, that was actually quite well done by WalftheWolf. It definitely fell apart in the last minute there. He probably needed some kind of double-pronged attack. If he had hit the super reactor and the tier 3 up in the north with a couple of Tengus and a couple of strikers, he would have been able to take that down. But Vindies was also ahead on economy for almost that entire game. I mean, discounting the first 3 minutes where they're both on that 2 refinery stuff. After that, Vindies is basically ahead the whole time. That'll do it for game number 2. Let's see what happens, what kind of craziness abounds in game number 3. So welcome to Arwar Reservoir. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this map, and I'm not that worried about it because this is kind of a stupid map, which means I am so excited to see what these guys do with it. In the North Plain, as the Soviets, possibly for like the 3rd time in his life, this is WalftheWolf. He is down now 1-1 after an amazing game number 1. He slips up in game number 2 and loses one of the maps to even up the score. Coming through with the Soviets, I think he can do it again with the Empire, but let's see. This is Vindies. This one feels a bit more of a mismatch. I feel like Vindies is going to be very comfortable with Empire, and WalftheWolf is going to be very uncomfortable with Soviets. But let's see. Anything can happen. It is Arwar Reservoir. And this is one of those maps that I didn't even realize it, but this super duper favors Empire engineers. WalftheWolf probably didn't really realize this, but right where you start is a hospital and a dry docks. And then we do see a garage is also available. And the oil derricks, these are poker oil derricks. This is middle of the map, not even Fire Island. Like, Fire Island is manageable. This is kind of silly oil derricks. There is an engineer just caught in the middle. Yeah, WalftheWolf clearly, he has the muscle memory to build an engineer right at the start of the game, because normal maps, reasonable maps, have the oil derrick in reasonable positions, but this is just like a silly oil derrick there, right in the middle of the map, right on the edge in these awkward positions. There's a building nearby. It's such a wonky spot to put an oil derrick, and Vindies is going to take total advantage of it. He is going to get himself a couple of barracks just spread around the map, and honestly, this is one of those things that can be really frustrating to deal with. Tank busters and Imperial Warriors, you don't need a ton of them to be annoying. And once those Tengu harassments get added into the mix, all right, so WalftheWolf is up to the war factory. He's got the sickle, so he knows that, there are some barracks around the place, but I don't think he knows about these 2 barracks in the north, so yeah, this is going to get really difficult to deal with, but let's see what he can do. Jet Tengu takes a couple of shots here. Good flak trooper placement here. He might not switch them over to mines, and in this particular case, he didn't really get the opportunity, but he does have a hammer tank nearby. He got that super reactor fast enough, and into this giant Civ structure, which is, like, hilariously sized, and it probably takes, it probably houses, 3 units, but it takes up 1/8 of the map in terms of the mini-map. It's so gigantic on the minimap. And WalftheWolf is now like, oh, wait, where am I supposed to take my third? I guess down here in this corner, but there's so many buildings. And actually, Vindies even got the hospital. He got the hospital on the wrong side of the map instead of the hospital that's right next to his base. He got his opponent's hospital. So his infantry will have that healing ability. And he has a decent crowd of Imperial Warriors and Tank Busters moving in. And this is like, I don't even know if this is an expansion tactic. I was expecting to see a third and fourth refinery potentially being taken behind this. Take maybe the one in the middle and then the one in the corner. I don't even know. But WalftheWolf is clearly, oh, I love that he grabs the hospital at just the right time. MCV getting bursted down. Need bears, need hammer tanks, need sickles, everything here on the front line to deal with this. Bears are going to get an amazing roar off, and a couple of more bears going to be pushing into this engagement. All of the tank busters go down into the ground, and that gives so much valuable time to WalftheWolf. He is going to totally crush the infantry of this attack. Couple of Tengus going to be showing up, but there is at least a hammer tank nearby to deal with the Tengus. The MCV going for the crush, and these bears are just ready and waiting for those tank busters to pop on out. Maybe too many bears. Arguably too many bears are already here, and the MCV is still packed up. It is not building any fresh expansions. It's not adding any tech or production facilities on, but he's got the war factory, he's got the barracks, and these bears are camping on top of these tank busters. That is an expensive pool of infantry. Tank busters are, I believe, 300 a pop, and it's like, that's, you know, $2,000 worth of tank busters just hanging out right here doing nothing. Maybe even $3,000 worth of tank busters just absolutely useless now. Molotov cocktail will clean them up slowly but surely. Hammer tanks getting added on. Third refinery just now being taken. No, okay, fourth refinery. There is a third up in the north. I guess that makes sense as a third. You know, you take if you take the pocket expansion, but this one also makes sense as the third from the position of Vindies. A couple of scouting bears around the map for WalftheWolf. What are you going to do when you build 47 bears as a reaction to mass infantry? Send them around the map to scout. And now, I actually feel pretty good for Wolf. Not good. I would feel good if he had 4 refineries, but he doesn't have 4 refineries. But I feel better than I thought I was going to. 3 refineries is okay. No oil derrick stinks. He really needs to take that back. But the garage is nice. The hospital is nice. Those are tools that pay bigger changes over the course of the game. You can really affect the outcome of a fight with those hospitals and with the garage. Building finally gets cleared out. A little bit of harassment. Nice use of the bear to scout for that toxin drop. Garage is going to get targeted down. Good read by Vindies, realizing that that garage has been taken. And, of course, that means Wolf should take this garage in the north. And at the same time, he is going to be harassing the expansion of Vindies. He might... I don't think he'll get the kill on the Harvester, but he at least puts it into that low damage mode, or high damage mode, low health mode. And eventually that Ore Collector will get repaired, but it does pull it off the line, you know, use up some of the time that it could be harvesting, and it does have to get healed up to a certain point to avoid the slowness of that high damage mode. A couple of Bullfrogs will get the kill on at least one striker. Good trade there for that hammer tank. Getting the striker makes that better for WalftheWolf. Gets the oil derrick as well, and he's going to be able to shut down this dojo. Also kind of a reminder that he needs to take that garage. And WalftheWolf is going to try and shut down this attack on the right side of the map as well. This hospital needs to stop being targeted. Vindies is going to maybe lose one of these tsunamis for free. Okay, no, finally, he puts his head back on straight, and he's got more than enough firepower to break these hammer tanks. And finally, he does. More hammer tank reinforcements showing up. Leech beam, no! Not fast enough, and of course, WalftheWolf is not a Soviet player, so you do not see him switching over to Leech Beam for just a moment there to suck away that gun and give himself more firepower in the future. Vindies will be losing this expansion in the north. He doesn't have much in the way to defend it. He might barely be able to save it, but he does get the hospital on the other side of the map. WalftheWolf definitely getting his feet under him now. He had a rough start and a bit of a rocky transition to his third. These two hammer tanks are just going to trade themselves out for that tsunami tank. And if this strikers transform, that'll be okay because the bullfrogs are nearby. The bullfrogs need to move into position. Both of these hammer tanks are actually going to go down to the strikers, and the strikers might kind of get caught in the corner. One striker goes down. These trades so messy for each player. No efficient, clear wins from them, but these two tsunami tanks will be able to take down the one remaining hammer tank if they actually turn their guns on him. And the hammer will eventually go down, leaving that tsunami tank to start working away on that refinery. And these trades have just been so messy from these two players. Getting that airfield is nice for WalftheWolf. One flak trooper may actually get a little bit of damage on this harvest, or on this tsunami tank. He gets the kill. No, he doesn't get the kill on the tsunami tank. Almost, though. And it's low enough health that the hammer tank might be able to get the kill on it. He doesn't use the leech beam to start off the engagement, but he doesn't need it! He gets the kill. The hammer tank wins that fight, and the refinery in the north will go down. Oh my gosh, WalftheWolf, is he going to be able to just take this game? I thought Empire Vindies, oh no. Okay, I may have spoken too soon. I thought Empire Vindies was going to smash Wolf, but Wolf is actually doing a pretty good job in this. He probably needs 5 twin blades right this second because he is about to have a big problem that he doesn't have an answer to, and that is that Shogun battleship. You never want to... Oh, no. No, he's got a Wave Force artillery as well. Oh, no. What are you going to do? Oh, no, Wolf. After all of that, he did so well, but he was not prepared for that Tier 3 transition. The GG gets called, and that I mean, it makes a lot of sense. That's a situation where it's like, he's done okay, and then he realizes, oh, my opponent has an army that functionally I can't kill. Yeah, in theory, he could win a fight, but no. In reality, Vindies is going to win that fight. Wave Force artillery, he's got the Shogun, he's got the King Oni, he can take down a couple of hammer tanks, he's got the micro, he's got the control, and Vindies takes game number 3. Oh no, WalftheWolf, I actually thought he was going to take that one there. But that will do it for game number 3. Let's see what happens in game number 4. So welcome to the map, Campground of Carnage. No, just kidding, Canals of Carnage here. As in the north, playing the Empire, this is WalftheWolf. And in the south, also playing Empire, this is the yellow Vindies. Vindies now on his third game as Empire in this kind of AVA show match. And well, we'll see. Vindies letting that last game get a lot closer than I thought it was. He had an amazing start, and he was happy to play that one out pretty slowly, and he eventually secured a tech advantage, which was insurmountable for WalftheWolf. Wolf deploys his dojo a little bit further away. He may be able to get out like a tank buster or something to help deal with the dojos of Vindies, but Vindies does get the oil derrick on the left, so he's got that on lockdown, and Wolf doesn't deploy his dojo quick enough or close enough, and so Vindies may actually get this on the right side of the map as well. Mecha Bay is up for WalftheWolf, so he at least has that going for him, and good positioning of that dojo. He's at least kind of freezing the production of Vindies for the current moment. I think Vindies is just going to go burst drones to try and clear out that situation. Mecha Bay is here for Vindies as well, and WalftheWolf walking around the map with this extra dojo. He is just going to try and... Oh, WalftheWolf is going to go for it! He gets it! He gets the oil derrick! I can't believe he actually managed to get that. That is wonderful for WalftheWolf. It's like a minute later than he would have wanted, but he at least got it, and he's doing the Empire thing of dojoing the main base of your opponent, and it's one of those things where it forces your opponent to deal with it, and I guess Vindies is actually going to be doing the exact same thing to WalftheWolf. Tengus will be forced to deal with that on both sides, and look at that. WalftheWolf will get to keep that oil derrick at least for now. This map is so long and skinny. It does have those two little lakes, and it's such a tall map compared to most of the stuff that we see, and I genuinely am curious as to how exactly it's going to play out. A lot of these maps are sort of bigger than I thought they were, having not really seen many games on them and not really played. Oh, that engineer! That would have been disastrous. Another GG would have happened right there. But no, WalftheWolf keeps his hope alive. Perhaps like the second game as Empire, you are getting to see WalftheWolf play. No tier 2, it's just going to be Mass Tengu from Vindies. He almost won game number 1 with Mass Tengu, so he's looking to make it happen once again. This is one of those things where EVE, you know, it has that reputation of being a kind of mono-unit matchup, and it can be. We have seen, of course, good Empire players. They do figure out when is the right time to transition. What are the points where you transition into the next phase of the game? Or how do you introduce, like, for example, a naval yard to break things up and to sometimes dislodge your opponent? In this case, it might be just pure Tengu numbers as WalftheWolf catches a couple of the Tengus, but he's going to be able to jump on the Tengus of Vindies, and right now WalftheWolf has far superior Tengu numbers, so there's no real way for Vindies to make this work. He's going to try and split up the targets, and he's going to get overwhelmed at both places, but the stacking may actually be favoring Vindies here, as he does, well, everything explodes all at once, and I guess Vindies is going to maybe get a kill on a Harvester, as this Tengu will go down, and yeah, he gets the kill on the Harvester, and WalftheWolf was not ready for that. Oh, that actually worked out super well. WalftheWolf does have some things going well for him, but killing both of those Harvesters might get Vindies a big enough advantage to roll, to snowball into the next game. And actually, yeah, WalftheWolf feels it. He doesn't have the cash to get out the Harvesters. He probably needs to cancel whatever is building in his Mecha Bay, but he's forced to sell off his MCV. He can rebuild his MCV at a later moment, but Vindies doesn't realize this just yet. They're going to trade out Tengus 1-to-1. The transforms try to happen, but no, even with the transform micro, it is just not working out for these players. It's going to be 3 Tengus versus 3. I'm not actually sure. Oh no, WalftheWolf won't be able to escape, but he will get the kill on that other Tengu that transformed. Tengu, Tengu, Tengu. If we have to say that any more times, I don't know, I might just go insane with how many units are going to be built in this game. Vindies is about to see, he's about to realize that WalftheWolf sold off that MCV. Vindies keeps his own MCV, at least for now. Another Tengu does go down. I don't know if that engineer has actually been spotted. Vindies got close to spotting it. Targeting down the oil derrick is about as good as you can hope for in this situation. WalftheWolf grabbing both of those oil derricks is absolutely amazing. If he had not lost both of those Harvesters, WalftheWolf would be like miles ahead. Or even if he had lost one of the Harvesters but had been able to rebuild it a bit more quickly. Vindies moving into position here. He gets the oil derrick. WalftheWolf is here for the defense, but not all of his Tengus are transformed. And Vindies is going to try and trade out equal numbers there. The double vet helping out WalftheWolf a good bit there. And it's going to be just like a straight trade, I guess. No, okay, there's a transform from WalftheWolf to get a guaranteed kill. And WalftheWolf will be able to transform quite nicely. Good control by Wolf. That was really well handled. That's one of those engagements that is just very messy and difficult to execute. Vindies is going to have the very close Mecha Bay here to get him some repairs. He's going to have to call that Harvester off the line. WalftheWolf doesn't get the kill on the Harvester, and Vindies does actually repair up those wall segments, which is pretty funny to see. But he does get that Harvester a couple of repairs, get it back online, and that was really well handled defense by Vindies. No third base on the field for either player. And you do have kind of like a pocket natural here, but it is quite a ways from your main base. It is quite shelled in by that mountain, and then the high ground one is Maybe also a bit in the pocket, but it's kind of exposed there on the high ground. Second oil derrick going to get targeted down. Should be fine for WalftheWolf. I think all of his... Ooh, he actually went up to Tier 2. So he is making the bold play of going up to Tier 2. And it is 3 observation posts on this map, so that is kind of disappointing. The oil derrick does go down. Oil derricks have, I think, completely paid for themselves there by WalftheWolf. He is going for the mass harassment strategy, and this is going to get weird as the Tengus come in to defend from Vindies. Looks like at least one of these harvesters is going to be going down. The other one is called off the line. No, it does manage to escape, so no harvesters have gone down just yet. And Vindies actually gets the catch on 2, maybe 3 of these Tengus of WalftheWolf. That's a great catch by Vindies. Almost gets another one on the exit, and he is going to get it as it flies away. WalftheWolf making a critical mistake there and losing so many Tengus to the inferior forces of Vindies. And WalftheWolf may have just kind of washed away his Tengu advantage there. That was a bit cumbersome of a mistake. Okay. Tsunami tanks do get spotted, I think, there, so this is going to get weird for WalftheWolf. He has inferior Tengu numbers, but the right angle of engagement could allow these strikers to do massive damage. One Tengu goes down basically for free there. Vindies looking for the engage. He's going to go for the mass transform. All 5 Tengus are now trapped, but he at least has the point defense drones. He gets the easy kill on the harvesters. The striker's a little bit too far away to be of much use, and the second harvester going down. I think Vindies has sort of put 2 and 2 together that the MCV is gone, and now the striker's getting targeted down, or the Tengu's getting targeted down. The strikers do transform in time. Nicely handled there by WalftheWolf, and he's going to get almost every single Tengu. Really well handled there for WalftheWolf. That was almost complete chaos. That was almost utter destruction for WalftheWolf. But no! He has to sell a refinery. He's completely out of cash. Vindies has done it. Oh my gosh. WalftheWolf almost had that in the bag, but Vindies, the harvester kills with the shoestring budget that WalftheWolf was operating on, he had no bank to be able to rebuild those harvesters. I mean, you need nearly $3 grand to get both harvesters online, and WalftheWolf decides to sell off a refinery, which puts a clock on his game. He's got to win the game in, I don't know, the next 3 minutes or something, and then Vindies will just have such an advantage in income that the tech advantage of WalftheWolf may not matter. Vindies is going to try and hope to catch some of these units. He gets one Tengu out in the open. The second one desperately low on health. It will get eliminated. There's the strikers on the ground. They're going to be able to trade back one of the Tengus. It does go down right on the edge of the range there. And WalftheWolf has to keep up the pressure. Basically, every moment is a moment in Vindies' favor. Double income Vindies, looking good, looking happy. And that engineer was used on an observation post, so it's not even like he can get some kind of amazing end-of-the-game engineer capture. Oh, no, WalftheWolf. No, Wolf. He calls it quits. Game 4 goes to Vindies. Oh, Wolf, no, buddy. Vindies now has a 3-1 point advantage. This is a best of 9, and we go into a Soviet mirror, which takes us to the map Rival Schools. We are knocking off maps that basically no one has ever seen competitive games on. For some of these maps, there's a good reason why no one has ever seen a competitive game on these maps, and for others of these maps, they're just not quite as popular. As the Red Soviets in the north, this is WalftheWolf. In the south, as the Yellow Soviets way in the other corner, this is Vindies. I believe WalftheWolf described this rule set as cruel when he saw it, which is pretty funny for me. Oh, there's an airport? There's airports on the edges of the map. One of these maps with the double expansions as well. So actually, if you draw a line in the north, you draw a line to the west, and you have your 5 refineries all in a line. And it is going to be bears rushing to the oil derrick of your opponent. WalftheWolf will be able to secure his own oil derrick despite Vindies posturing near it with a bear. And obviously, this is a map with a ton of water. But only 2 water expansions for each player. There is still 3 land expansions for each player, so this is one where, I don't know, may actually function better if you had 3 refineries in your main because of how far away these expansions are and the huge amount of water between your bases. This one feels like it needs to diverge a little bit from the traditional map techniques of competitive maps. Yeah, all of these maps are so huge, so much bigger than I expected. Bear coming in from WalftheWolf. He will eventually get the scout, and actually it's going to be straight into airfield, probably for both players. Yeah, for both players. The bear does eventually get shut down. Vindies scouting bears, or at least one of them. And airfield is, makes a lot of sense. I was hoping to see Naval Yard first. This is going to be a 4 flak trooper plus an engineer twin blade coming out here from Vindies. Nothing quite like that happening for WalftheWolf. The Crusher Crane makes a lot of sense. Get that Crusher Crane near that airfield. I'm curious as to who's going to take the 3rd refinery first. Looks like it may be Vindies. He does also have this twin blade all loaded up and ready to go. Is he actually going for the airport? I guess that does make sense. Repair those air units and garrison up the building as well. So this is going to be a really good move from Vindies. WalftheWolf has a couple of bears spread around the map, and it looks like WalftheWolf has kind of caught wind of what Vindies is doing. Triple MiG. They're going to look for the kill. Are they going to try and engage in the dogfight against the MiGs of Vindies, or is he going to try and cut for the throat and just go for the twin blade? Nice strike here for WalftheWolf. He catches the MiGs of Vindies. He gets the first shot off, and he will be able to shut down the MiGs of Vindies. But Vindies may actually get the garrison. No, he is not. The bears are too close, and there's the roar. The engineer does not jump in the building, and the bears clear out absolutely everything. Perfect execution there. The twin blade goes down. Beautifully done by WalftheWolf. Vindies is going to be taking a 3rd behind this, so his expansion does come behind that action a little bit more quickly than WalftheWolf. And no Crusher Crane, actually, from Vindies. So Vindies does have to spend the time with his MCV deployed. Meanwhile, WalftheWolf moves... Actually, his MCV is not going for the expansion. He moves moving back towards the middle of the map, which I feel is a little bit curious. This map feels like it has very strong potential points of... Very strong points of interest, I guess. Between the airfield, the naval yard, or the dry dock, which give you those repairs, and then, of course, your opponent has them as well. It feels like there are very strong objectives on the map for the players to potentially fight over. In this particular case, WalftheWolf actually wants to get a naval yard up fast, and he chose to put that naval yard south of his main base, so he is not looking to keep the naval yard over by his double water expansion in the top left-hand corner of the map. MiG's going to be engaging against each other. This time, Vindies gets the better part of the engagement. The split by WalftheWolf leaves one of his MiGs isolated and vulnerable, and that MiG may have been a Top Gun pilot, but he is gone now. Too bad. Crusher Crane is coming up for Vindies. 2nd airfield, I imagine, will get added on for both of these players eventually. The 8 MiG showdown, I think we will probably end up seeing at some point. Engineer gets added on. Dry dock and airport feel like they are going to be important. First Akula sub is out. And we may even get to see some Kirovs here as well. We shall see. MiG's heading out. 1 twin blade as well. WalftheWolf maybe got the jump on one of the MiGs of Vindies, and it looks like WalftheWolf, even though he doesn't have the repairs, will be able to win the MiG fight just barely. He does win that MiG fight, and the twin blade is going to be getting pushed away. WalftheWolf may have something loaded inside of this twin blade as well. Okay. Does he just exits? I'm not sure where that twin blade even went. He heads into the corner. He's going to be harassing the Harvester, calls in toxins, or maybe a satellite drop. I'm surprised he doesn't have flak troopers or an engineer or something inside of this to go for the kill on the airfield of your opponent. He's going for the Harvester, but those are armored Harvesters. Meanwhile, the Akula sub is going to be able to get a Harvester kill in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. WalftheWolf going to be establishing his own Harvesters in the north, and oh, that might have been a bit of a mistake there. I'm not sure if the geometry of that ore mine intersected those Ultra Torpedoes in a way that you don't expect. The Akula sub does get caught off guard, and no, Vindies actually attacks his own ore mine, firing his own Ultra Torpedoes. They do not care, friend or foe. Vindies is going to try and take over the airfield of his opponent, the airport of his opponent, and his MCV is going to have to run onto land. WalftheWolf just running away with his Akula sub and forcing Vindies to chase him around. Vindies takes the airport. WalftheWolf can take the airport south now of his MCV. And there's the second airfield coming up for WalftheWolf. No second airfield just yet for Vindies. Vindies has the better economy with the more refineries faster. And they both have one oil derrick. The Akula subs slowly fighting it out. Bear watching over this airport. WalftheWolf ready to take his other airport on the left side of the map. He's got the dry dock as well, so he does have that advantage over the Navy of Vindies. Vindies' Navy is actually just going to get outclassed by WalftheWolf. MiG's closing in, and oh no, poor Vindies. He just gets absolutely slaughtered there. And eventually WalftheWolf will maybe come through as the victor here. The dry dock has now been captured on both sides as Vindies realizes that the dry dock is going to be important. And no, WalftheWolf is not able to win that engagement. The Ultra Torpedoes, as good as they are, did not help him with the numbers game. Now that Vindies has the repairs as well. WalftheWolf is finally going to take back the airport on the left side of the map, and it looks like WalftheWolf may actually be able to get a kill on this Harvester. Four Twin Blades will take a minute to kill off that MCV, but with no help in sight, an MCV kill followed by an airport kill could be a game-winning move here for WalftheWolf. Goodbye, MCV, and next target, airport. No, Wolf, what are you doing? He's not attacking the airport. He's maybe a little bit too scared that that something was going to show up. One Bullfrog would have eventually showed up. I feel like those airports are so important. WalftheWolf is just going to go straight for the Crusher Crane, actually. The Flak Cannon has had enough time to get constructed, but that Crusher Crane is so low on health. WalftheWolf does not want to sacrifice any Twin Blades, though, to go for it. And there's a surprising lack of Twin Blades, despite the fact that we do have double airfield on the north side of the map. It's the battle of the Akulas. Ultra Torpedoes firing off on both sides. WalftheWolf is just getting overwhelmed by the forces of Vindies, though, and he can't build Akulas fast enough. Twin Blades getting targeted down. WalftheWolf still hasn't taken that fifth and final expansion in the north. Twin Blades are going to try and trade out against those Bullfrogs who get the naval benefits when they're in the aquatic mode. All of the Twin Blades do end up going down, and it's just a spread of bears around in the main base of Vindies. WalftheWolf, with no extra refinery in the north, is going to be a little bit annoyed that he'll always be down on economy. Good move here by Vindies. Oh my gosh, Vindies actually has a fully heroic Akula sub, which does have a surprising rate of fire because of how incredibly slow the rate of fire of a normal Akula sub is. And of course, these guys, they've got those randomized shots, right? But it's like the Akula sub can't shoot straight. It's just constantly firing in a different direction. I mean, you know, it normally looks cool because of the variation, and all of the shots don't go in the exact same direction. But it is also like the torpedoes just curving sideways out of the Akula subs. That was a killer move by Vindies. He defends his expansion, but oh, his MCV is back online. That's good. He defends his expansion. He kills off the Twin Blades of WalftheWolf, and he kills the dry dock of Wolf. And now he probably just goes for the Harvester here. You kind of got to ignore the fact that 4 Akulas are right on your tail. They're going to destroy your subs. Although with the Dry Dock and the fully heroic status, I actually don't know who wins this fight. I guess it partially depends on Ultra Torpedoes. That should end it pretty quickly for WalftheWolf. If he fires his Ultra Torpedoes now, these should all be ready to go. And okay, he's going to be able to take out that Akula very nicely. Second Akula is going to try and make his escape, and that is a quick repairing boy. Fully heroic plus that Dry Dock. Twin Frog crosses the map. WalftheWolf has gone for pretty heavy amounts of Apollos, and it's going to be armor up that Harvester, armor up this Harvester, and wait for the Cavalry. No Flak Troopers or something. I'm kind of surprised. No, that Harvester didn't get armored up. WalftheWolf needs to start up that Harvester right away. He's already down on economy. He's down a little bit further. Killing off this reactor is just a nice addition to this. One Bullfrog isn't enough. A second Bullfrog is not going to be enough either. And the MiGs can't get close with these 5 Bullfrogs on the ground. Killing that reactor doesn't, like, totally reset things, but it is annoying for Wolf, although he does have a safety reactor over there. And he's actually dropping his own Flak Troopers. He may get the super reactor here. He shuts down the Crusher Crane with his Twin Blades, and now he might actually get the super reactor with his Flak Troopers. Are they going to get it? Barely. No, they do get it! He gets it! Low power mode for Vindies. WalftheWolf chasing down the Twin Blades as they cross the map. And the MCV getting kind of trapped on land. WalftheWolf, he's brought his own MCV, I think, down south. Yeah, he's going to drop a barracks onto the mainland of Vindies. And what a weird and wonky game this is leading to. As you can see, if you have giant maps that no one has ever played on and you force allied players to play a Soviet mirror, things definitely get very weird very quickly. Huge advantage that Vindies has is the fact that he's got the dry dock and the airport. But WalftheWolf, I mean, he's got the numbers out on the sea. The double naval yard follow-up was fantastic as a choice, even though his economy has been weaker than Vindies for this entire game. WalftheWolf has been doing a really good job strategically, making the right calls, and now he actually has an opportunity to kill the dry dock of Vindies. He might actually be able to sneak out a couple of Twin Blades to be able to kill off the airport of Vindies. His own MCV is called back to, I don't know, defend against the MCV of Vindies. Vindies can't move until the super reactor gets completed. Twin Blades getting annihilated on both sides. Those Bullfrogs hunting for the targets. And I don't know, these two MCVs are just staring at each other. Vindies does get a couple of shots off there. He has a fully heroic Akula sub himself, and I think he was able to jump on the Akula, the heroic Akula of WalftheWolf. Unfortunately, that last Ultra Torpedo shot did miss. Vindies does manage to keep a hold of his dry dock. What is going on here, guys? Their MCVs are just staring at each other. And okay, adds on a Tesla coil. Good choice there by WalftheWolf. Adds on a barracks as well. He says, well, I might as well force your MCV to pack up and run away. I'm going to get an engineer, and Vindies is doing something somewhere. I don't know what. WalftheWolf is going to target down the dry dock. Very good choice there. Toxins get called in the south. Bullfrog is getting pushed away. No, he actually goes Flak Troopers here. Kind of curious choice there, but the engineer, of course, would have gotten sniped by those Twin Blades. Float, so Flak Trooper to force away the Tesla coil. Oh, no, that's Vindies' Tesla coil. I didn't even realize that. I just assumed that it was WalftheWolf. Ultra Torpedoes will shut that down so quickly, though. Nice use of that reactor to get one extra shot of that Tesla coil. Dry dock does go down in the south. Meanwhile, Twin Blades going for the refinery, not even worried about the harvester. The MiGs will show up. They will get the kill on both of those Twin Blades. Goodbye, Twin Blades, as Vindies gets shut down, but oh, he got the satellite drop off. So even though his MCV is going to be forced to pack up, he's going to have to run for the hills. Okay, these MiGs, I think, are out of range, out of the area. I think the satellite will kill air units if it passes through them. Naval Yards take a decent chunk of damage, and that attack almost goes amazingly for Vindies, but it all kind of falls apart in the last moment there. Magnetic Singularity? Yeah, just barely. No, he is in range. No, the MCV was out of range. It stopped right at that moment there, and Vindies almost got caught and killed by the Magnetic Singularity of WalftheWolf. And oh, behind the scenes, Vindies has been building a screenshot base in the corner of the map here. I guess he actually needs 2 naval yards just to complete the symmetry and to really round out the look of that base in the corner. Oh no, a Kirov as well. Vindies is pulling out all the stops. Decent amount of MiGs. Might actually need a second airfield worth of MiGs, though. Who knows? Naval yards survive, one of them getting repaired up. WalftheWolf is eventually going to take this other refinery. Vindies moving out through the middle of the map. I love these 2 sneaky Akulas. Going to be able to get a harvester? Maybe, oh, they actually might just go for the super reactor, yeah. They're going to go for the super reactor. Need to get a clear shot for the ultra torpedoes to work. One set moves in. Nicely done there by WalftheWolf. He might be able to get the kill here with this second Akula sub. Good block off by Vindies, forcing WalftheWolf to reposition his Akula subs. A couple of MiGs going down there. Terror Drone does get an infect on a Bullfrog, though. And the super reactor gets sold off. Okay, so WalftheWolf is going to lose the Akula subs. He gets the sell-off of the super reactor. He gets the kill on a harvester, and he takes his own 5th refinery in the top left-hand corner of the map. So things are looking pretty good for Wolf. He also gets the scout on this Kirov as well. So he knows that the Kirov is there. He's going to have to do something about it eventually. Akula sub's getting targeted down. Nicely stopped there by Vindies. And this is as much of a warning as WalftheWolf is going to get. He's got Akulas. He has got Bullfrogs. They both still have their airports, so that's good for the Kirov. And this has actually been a lot less Twin Blade armies. I thought it was going to be 30 Twin Blades versus 30 Twin Blades. Instead, it's actually going to be kind of a bunch of Akula subs, Ultra Torpedoes firing off on both sides. Magnetic Singularity going to grab 4 of the Akula subs, pull them into its grasp, keeps them above water and available as targets to be shot. WalftheWolf closes in. He sinks his teeth in. The Wolf is here, and he is here to crush the army of Vindies. Akula sub for Akula sub, Iron Curtain, and a Vacuum Imploder both being added on for Vindies. He gets a Natasha as well, but he loses the battle at sea. We should not lose sight of this guy, though. Slowly, quietly, making his way across the map. Natasha is here. Bullfrogs are here. WalftheWolf is going to have to contend with double Tesla coil. The Iron Curtain isn't ready just yet. One Tesla coil will get canceled, and the Iron Curtain is going to be the shield for the second Tesla coil. Heroic, fully heroic Akula sub is really nice here for Vindies. Shot fires off. It's a Bullfrog that takes the shot. The space cable is here to witness this battle at sea. WalftheWolf fires off one random Ultra Torpedo, and the Terror Drone will get an extra kill here for Vindies, but his water base may be compromised. Kirov is here. Super Reactor is going to go down. That'll be the next target for Vindies. He gets one refinery, and this is where WalftheWolf is like, oh no, what do I actually do? He's got his own Twin Blades on the other side of the map, going for the kill here. Natasha is out in the water, and the Terror Drone will get the kill. Terror Drones, the real hero here for Vindies, getting several kills around the map, and even a Harvester will be going down with this Terror Drone, in fact. And WalftheWolf losing 3 of his Harvesters basically at one time. 2 refineries getting eliminated and 1 Harvester getting infected by a Terror Drone. The Crusher Crane may be too late. WalftheWolf will lose some of his naval advantage. His Twin Blades shutting down some of the harvesters of Vindies. And Vindies is going to be able to get back online. At least he didn't lose the refineries. He didn't lose his super reactor. Although WalftheWolf was able to kill off a couple of super reactors. And this, you don't have enough rockets. You just don't have enough rockets in these 2 MiGs. Maybe 2 MiGs will have enough rockets. But with the repair offered by the airport, okay, so the GG gets called. WalftheWolf takes the loss there. That Kirov was going to be very difficult to stop. These big, gigantic maps where your army gets separated out and then pieces of it get destroyed can be really problematic. A couple of these games, they're so incredibly close, and WalftheWolf feels like he's going to take them, and then Vindies just pulls it out. And Vindies is now up 4-1? Wow. So he's in match point position as we head into game number 6. And that brings us to the map Secret Shrine for game number 6 of this weird and wonky show match as the Yellow Allies in the north. This is Vindies. Welcome to the you actually get to choose your own faction portion of the show match in the south as the Red Allies. This is WalftheWolf. Oh no. Oh no! Oh no! He did the thing! Oh no, Wolf. He does just place his refinery somewhere else, and so he is not down any timing, but that is annoying to do. If you build your walls in a particular style, in a particular order, then you will inadvertently create these cross sections. And so many players will build 3 of the 4 wall segments, wall hubs rather, before the refinery is placed, and then they place the refinery and get the 4th wall hub up and running. And in this particular case, you have a water expansion which can't have walls, and so you're only building walls at one place, and that's why WalftheWolf's wall timing was a little bit messed up there, and wall placement was a little bit messed up there, but he fixed it, of course, and it looks like oil derricks will be taken. WalftheWolf gets the first one. The engineer might actually get sniped here. It's going to be close. Fortunately, there's no delay on getting into the oil derrick, but the Peacekeeper might be able to close the distance just enough, and it's going to be like 2 blasts to finish off that engineer. No, he gets it! Oh, he's inside! Perfectly done there. Vindies could not have asked for a better setup there. It is going to be a Riptide with some Javelin soldiers, and Riptide, double Riptide follow-up with that Naval Yard. Secret Shrine, another map that we have basically never seen a competitive game on, and we are going to be getting to see an AVA, Naval Yard versus Airfield openings. Functionally, these two guys are opening up very, very similar to each other, except when we go for the Airfield versus the Naval Yard. 3 Vindicators out on the field for WalftheWolf. He's going to be seeing these Riptides. I thought he already saw the Riptides. I don't know why he's not killing the Riptides. He gets a barracks, so he knows that the Riptides are on their way. The Riptides actually unload a little bit early. Okay, he's going to go for the kill on the oil derrick there. So 1 Javelin Trooper jumps on out. WalftheWolf may actually take this expansion way in the corner. Way down in the south or in the very north edge of the map is where those expansions are. Vindicators come through. They are able to clean up both of those Riptides very nicely. Well handled by WalftheWolf. He gets a magnificent bark off on the first group of infantry, but one of his Vindicators goes down there. A big, big get there for Vindies. The fact he was able to get one of those Vindicators is amazing. Peacekeeper cleans up the rest of or Vindicators clean up the rest of the units, and WalftheWolf with a couple of Peacekeepers here taking that splash damage from those Vindicator bombs. He will be able to get a little bit of damage against these units, or against these buildings of WalftheWolf. Nice bomb splitting there by Vindies. Cleans up the Peacekeepers, and eventually everything comes back to a point of stability, except Vindies lost out on that oil derrick. He got the cash back, of course, but WalftheWolf has done a really good job of just shutting Vindies down at almost every turn. Really well handled there. Vindicators get off the deck, and one of them goes down. Perfectly done. WalftheWolf gets so lucky with that timing. He drops an additional power plant in the left canal, and I guess he's going to be going for his 3rd here in kind of a forward front position. Meanwhile, Vindies goes for the backdoor expansion. Apollos are here. Barely. Vindies wins that fight, like 1 HP remaining on that Apollo. Ore refinery almost done here. Up against the ropes, and WalftheWolf is not throwing in the towel. He has to execute 4 games in a row against Vindies. Now, his advantage is the rest of these games I am not screwing with their faction picks. I am messing with their map picks. We have, after this, Jungle Stalkers, which is a 4-player map, and then we go into, or actually, no, Temple Prime Reloaded, and then Jungle Stalkers, and then the last map is actually Loser's Pick. So, WalftheWolf does have a lot of games ahead of him, but they are all allied games. He can choose whatever factions he wants, and even, well, Vindies would actually choose the last map, so Vindies does have that advantage. We can see Infinity Isle in map number 9, but WalftheWolf can at least play allies for the rest of it. MCV has gone somewhere. He's gone back down to the south. He's going to be taking his 4th refinery as the backdoor expansion. Meanwhile, Vindies drops a barracks and a power plant on the land. Peacekeepers keep getting cleaned up. It's a decent amount of money down the drain there for WalftheWolf. So, he isn't totally winning these engagements. Ooh, Apollo's on the hunt. They might be able to jump on these Vindicators. No, they get sent back home. Nicely done there by Wolf. And we're about to be in basically a 4 refinery versus 4 refinery situation. Vindies took the faster 3rd, but WalftheWolf got the kill on the oil derrick, so they're probably sort of equaled out in that sense. Refinery is much better than an oil derrick. But, of course, an oil derrick keeps ticking no matter what, and the oil derrick was captured sooner there. 4th refineries come up almost at the exact same time from each player. And barracks comes up for WalftheWolf, so he's going to be doubling down on this aircraft, airfield infantry style. Scouting dog in the north as well, always nice to have. Vindicators coming through, a little bit of a bombing run just to clear out that building. Bridge goes down, so 1 bridge Vindies does not want to have to deal with. There are a decent number of bridges, and, oh, actually, this map can be completely cut off. I just realized that there are no land bridges. I thought there was at least 1 set of land bridges, which keeps it open, but actually this map can be completely land separated, so that is something to keep in mind, is this map could become as blocked off as that last map was. Peacekeepers do get spotted. Vindies is responding. He has actually probably too many Javelin Troopers for the pure Peacekeeper spam that WalftheWolf is going for. And WalftheWolf actually has Peacekeepers in the south as well. The Javelin Soldiers will get spotted out. It's going to be into a naval yard for Vindies, probably going tier 3 relatively soon. Get on an aircraft carrier, get those EMP options into his, get him some EMP options that he will have. Get those EMP options into his arsenal, I guess. Vindicators from Vindies. Going to be able to clean up some of these Peacekeepers. Good strike from WalftheWolf, by the way. On the other side of the map, we saw him kill off an Assault Destroyer and do some damage to a second Assault Destroyer. So cutting down those naval forces and also keeping an eye on the naval buildup of Vindies, who has gone tier 3. WalftheWolf still has his MCV down in the corner. It's tier 1, so it's all aircraft, you know, all Vindicators and Apollos, all Peacekeepers and Javelin Soldiers, and that is about to run out of some kind of usefulness. I do love these separated infantry groups from WalftheWolf. It doesn't seem to be accomplish anything yet, but one of these groups could actually make it through, kill off a refinery, and then continue on to the main base and do some real damage. A lot of Javelin Soldiers from Vindies. He's gone just like mass jabs. And again, against like the pure Peacekeeper spam of WalftheWolf. That is going to be really bad. First aircraft carrier is finally out. Second aircraft carrier looks like it's being added in. Apollos are running point on the anti-air defense, so he will at least have that. Infantry numbers are building up to be quite big for WalftheWolf. He's got those couple of dogs running the scouting patterns as well. All right, Vindies has seen it. I don't know when he saw this infantry squad making their way to this expansion, but he has kept an eye on it, and his Vindicator gets the kill on the Javelin Soldier, which is sort of the most important part. So these separated groups have yet to do anything for WalftheWolf. Meanwhile, aircraft carriers, ooh, it's actually stepped out of range of the black hole armor. Nicely handled there for the last bomb by Vindies, but he does take some additional damage on that aircraft carrier. Oh, airfield just goes completely down from the high ground. The Athena cannon may be burning it down, and that completely cuts off the refueling options of those Apollos. They're going to have to refuel somewhere else. Build another airfield somewhere, Vindies. Athena cannon steps down onto the low ground, getting that tech up on that command hub. That's how he gets the tier 3 on his war factory. Doesn't have to do it on his MCV, but of course the prospector can be killed off a bit more quickly than an MCV. All right, it is the end game sequence beginning. Vindies looking to lock this show match up, take the win for himself. Gets the EMP on both Athena cannons, but can he get the kill? Meanwhile, Cryoblast fires off from the side of Vindies, I think, as his Peacekeepers break through the front line. WalftheWolf has to retreat, and one of his Athena cannons goes down. The second one may be getting forgotten, and it's just sitting there waiting for the aircraft carrier to kill it off. Meanwhile, WalftheWolf gets the kill on the refinery in the top right-hand corner of the map. The prospector is going to have to run away, and Vindies has defended his home. He's gotten the kill on the aircraft carrier, but he hasn't done that critical damage just yet. No, he maybe has. He gets the kill on the refinery, and now WalftheWolf is going to have to deal with this double or triple aircraft carrier play that Vindies has. Vindies trying to clear out the middle section of the map, just slowly but surely taking over every inch of it. WalftheWolf does have a hidden expansion in the north, an airfield up there, a potential refinery as well, way in the corner. His airfield in his main getting shut down. The aircraft carriers have cleared that out. The Athena cannon finds a kill from the high ground as that Athena cannon burns down one of the aircraft carriers before getting eliminated. Nicely done there by both players. Athena cannon stepping forward once again. WalftheWolf going to be able to pick off a couple of units before this engagement actually happens. That refinery is now up and working in the corner. WalftheWolf keeping his hope alive as his second main base refinery falls to the non-stop onslaught of Vindies. Vindies losing that aircraft carrier does slow down his assault, and WalftheWolf strikes back. The Athena cannons getting the kill on Vindies' main base, forcing the sell-off there. The power plants are going to be next, and these guys are going to kind of base trade Navy versus ground, as actually a Sentry bomber has made its way somewhere onto this field. And Vindies could trap this army here? He could potentially trap the army kind of where it is. Javelin Soldier does get sniped. Vindies having to keep an aircraft carrier back at home. Athena cannons will be able to burn down that command hub. Nicely done. One of the Athena cannons going heroic there, so it's range. Naval forces have longer artillery range than the Athena cannons. Cryogeddon not going to fire off on the bridge. I'm not sure if a Cryogeddon would freeze a bridge. I imagine it would. I just don't know that we've ever actually seen that. Sentry bombers coming in. They're going to try and bomb out this Mirage tank. Apollos probably don't have enough ammo. And they're going to get the kill. EMP locks down those Athena cannons, and Vindies cannot operate. He cannot execute the kill, and... Whoa. I guess Vindies killed the tech and the war factory? I don't know what that was. Huh. Okay, so WalftheWolf takes the L there, and that was kind of a weird end. Vindies had the map score advantage, but I don't know that that was Vindies' game. WalftheWolf had to fight the Navy, and that was going to be difficult, but... well, I guess that does it. GG, and Vindies is your victor. Once again, a big, gigantic thank you to MediaStorm for sponsoring this show match. A huge, huge thanks to the guys who played it, Vindies and WalftheWolf, agreeing to the insane rule set that I gave them. I'm so glad that they did. What a phenomenal set of games. Definitely not the typical thing that you would want to always see, but I love having a little bit of fun every once in a while with weird matches and weird maps. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.